My name is Dominic Kisavi. I'm a police officer and I am working in the Directorate of Operations as a staff officer at Police and Headquarters. One of the most important things in matters crime is first we need to understand, when we talk about incest, what is incest by itself? If you go to section 20 and 21 of the Sexual Offences Act, number 3 of 2006, it defines incest by a male person or by a female person as follows. Any person who commits an indecent act or an act which causes penetration with a female person whose to his knowledge is a daughter, a granddaughter, a sister, mother, niece, auntie or grandmother is guilty of an offense termed incest. And such a person is liable for a term of not less than 10 years. There is a proviso in law which says that if it is alleged in the information or charge, and it is proved that the female person was under, at the time of commission of the offense, under the age of 18 years, then the accused person shall be liable to a term of imprisonment for life. And it is material whether the penetration or the act was obtained with the consent of the victim. It is one thing reporting that case to the police station, recording statements, opening a very good case file, taking that charge to court. It's another getting the witnesses, including the victim, to come and testify for court. After the case is taken to court, we have 8 situations whereby even the victims themselves, they have refused to come and testify because of situations beyond might be their control. There is that presumption that now this victim may be going to give evidence against their parents. That's their father, biological father. And then the fear that after giving evidence, they might find themselves with nowhere to go. They have no home to go. And they are scared they might not get the right shelter. They might not get somebody to pay their fees. They might not get somebody to take care of them financially. That is one of the challenges we have. And we have seen even the victims refuse to come and testify. Another challenge that we usually face, we have heard and we have seen situations whereby government officers, the chiefs, trying to make peace between the perpetrator and the victims. We have seen situations whereby some of the cases have not been reported. We come to know about them later through other sources of information, that the chiefs held a kangaroo court and the case was sorted. And then in some situations, after settling those cases, the victims come later. They find ways of reporting because they were not satisfied. Of course, they cannot be satisfied. A victim of sexual violation, defilement, they cannot be settled until justice is found. So later, after many days or many even months, they come to report that case. And you see, when a case is reported after quite a long lapse of time, there is the challenge of getting evidence. Because the best medicine, the best evidence in such situations is actually medical reports. And at that time, it might not be able to get the right evidence at that time. So that becomes another challenge, because that means the chances of succeeding in those cases are very lean. Talking about statistics, you need to understand this as what we usually have in our police records is a small fraction of all the cases that take place in this country. There are so many other cases that happen and they are never reported. And when they are not reported, that means there is nothing we can do. Because, but although at times when you get information about those offenses that took place and they were not reported, on our own motion, we initiate investigations. So it's a small fraction that we investigate. But the record that we have is already scary. So what I can urge the public is that more people should come forward and report. Actually, the records that we have does not mean the cases are few. There are many, but they are never reported. As a country, to fight these fights, we need the support of every person. It's an evil fight that we are facing, and we need everybody to be at the forefront to fight it. And one of the best ways to fight is to sensitize the public. And the starting point to sensitize the public should be the children in the schools. Because so long as the children do not understand that what has happened to them is a serious crime and they need to report, then we will not be doing anything. Because you find in such situations is that most of the perpetrators are parents. So the parents might be aware it's a crime, but the children are not aware. They don't know their rights in reporting these cases. So we might need to start from the schools to sensitize the children. Another point we need to sensitize, another group of people we need to sensitize before we go to the parents is the local administrators. Why? In every sub-location of this country, we have an assistant chief. We have a chief at the location level. Those are the people who are closest to the family units. And once they are sensitized, so that they can assist the victims to report the cases to the nearest police station as fast as possible, and if they are sensitized on how to protect evidence, how to safeguard evidence, and how they can advise the family units, because we cannot reach everywhere, then we'll be making a milestone in the war against incest. And maybe now we need to sensitize the general public, so that because every person, every victim has a neighbor, so that if a neighbor knows such this and this is happening to a child, then they need to report the nearest police station. Because everybody has a neighbor, and the neighbor can assist in reporting these cases. Then we'll be making a huge stride in the fight against incest. So sensitization is the key. Yeah, it can be done through, it's not enough, because the largest population live in the rural areas. It's not enough to hold conferences or meetings in 5-star hotels. The villager, deep in the village, will not get that information. Because the question is, how many people have access to media forums? How many people have access to social media? How many people have access to TV to see these things? This time we went to the village and sensitized the people, because that is where these things happen most. Mostly it's not in urban areas. They happen in urban areas, but the highest number of crimes of incest are committed in the village.